Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel. We are going to clean and oil up these boots today. I got a new position for the camera, so bear with me on that. I hope it all works out. So some of you know, these are my Nicks boots. They are 12-inch tall, walnut color. Pardon my forgetfulness there. So these are just like I brought them in. I haven't really cleaned them up or anything yet. I was going to show you guys how to do that, how to take care of the rough out, or at least what I'm going to do. So as you can see, there's dirt on them. I've been actually grinding in them today. I was grinding stumps this morning. So I did take my boot brush, my cleaner brush, on the porch, and I cleaned up the sides a little bit, just got some of the big stuff off because I didn't want to track it in the house. This is a brass brush. I believe I got that at Harbor Freight. I use these all the time in my shop. They're very handy for cleaning pretty much anything. You can get them in a set of 3. You get a plastic, steel, and brass, and I can't find either of the other two, so brass it is today. I don't recommend doing this much, especially any kind of hard. Don't overuse them. But for the dirt, I'm just going to use them on the sole because this is dry. So just a little bit of back and forth on that sole, or on the, the leather stack, I'm sorry. And also, as I'm doing these, I want to talk to you a little bit about my channel. So, I created this channel, I don't remember how long ago. It was one night, I was out in my garage, I bought some pocket knives. Actually, I bought another pocket knife, it was a buck 110. And I'm sure some of you have seen that video, my subscribers anyway. There's a few of you now, and I really thank you for your subscribing to my channel. I did not create this channel originally to be, I don't know, I didn't expect anybody would follow me, but some people have, and I thank you. So tell your friends if you like my content. But I'm hoping to turn this into a more off-road channel. I'm a huge, big-time Jeep guy. I love my Jeeps. I've had them for years. Unfortunately, I don't have time tonight to get into any of that, but I've got a new one coming in here in a few days. Actually, I'm sorry, a week and a half. And I will get you some more content on it. And I'm hoping to video my build with that and tell everybody what I did, how I did it, and get some more info on that. So if you have any questions about it, Jeeps in general, really, I know a lot about them and I love helping people with them. As I said, this channel has not had any of that stuff on it yet. So I'm hoping to get some more of that on here. And I literally set this channel up on a whim one night. I had no clue what I was doing. Still don't have much more of a clue what I'm doing, but hey, I'm making it. So yeah, I want to put more build Jeeps on here. I don't know how much off-road content I'm going to be able to do, as I live 2 hours from the nearest place to go off-roading. So if I can get a video camera there, I will be glad to. You know, I love to off-road and play around with Jeeps and build them, but everything I build has to still be able to be driven on the street every day. So that will be something, if you're not looking for just off-road, if you want to build your Jeep to be a street, everyday driver, 100 miles a day, that is something that my Jeeps have to be able to do. Because I live in the middle of a cornfield, I can't just have an off-road rig, because then I can't use it. It has to be street legal, you know, turn signals, license plates, all that kind of stuff. So, an off-road only Jeep is not really feasible for me at this time anyway. Maybe someday that'll change. So as you can see here, we're getting that off. We're getting back to real pretty leather. And you don't have to push hard. I may look like I am, but I'm really not. I mean, a little more than that is all you need. Let the wire do its work. You don't want to push it into the leather though, because you know, it'll cut. Boy, that's dusty. Another thing, cardboard. Put a cardboard mat on the table. You don't want to get your wife's table all dirty, because you don't want to do that. So that is the soles clean for you. And you don't have to use a metal brush. In fact, I would recommend plastic. I couldn't find my plastic one. And this is Indiana clay that is dried on there, and it's extremely tough. So, yeah, you don't have to do that. Then, this pure horsehair, sorry. It says it's 100% pure horsehair. I believe some of you have seen this video or in a video in the past. You just take this and you just go over it. And if you've got any spots that are holding extra dirt, I mean, hit them longer. Obviously, you know, there's always going to be dirty spots on boots that are used every day. Just give them a good brush. You don't want any dirt on them when you are oiling them. So we'll get into the oil in just a minute here. I was out in my shop grinding on working on my truck, and I noticed I had some metal, grinding dust on my toes. So I wanted to make sure you get all that off. And I'm gonna just go ahead and do that. I'm gonna have to pause this video in just a second to go get a rag to wash these, or to oil them with. That's one thing I did forget. So I'll go get that in just a minute. Brush them all over. I need to do this over here where you guys can see it, don't I? There's more on the toe. See if this will stand that back up, and that may just be, yeah, that's stamped in there pretty good, so I'm not going to worry about that. But you just want to get the, oh, thank you, special delivery rag. Okay, so you want to get the dirt off. Like I said, around the heel I always seem to hold dirt there. We had a foot of snow melt here in Indiana over the last week, and our weather is beautiful, but unfortunately everything in Indiana right now is muddy. So I've tried to keep these out of the mud as much as possible. I hate mud on leather boots, and especially these, because I've only oiled them one time. So this will be number 2. This will be the second time, and this is, I believe this is Oganoff's. I guess I should have double checked that, but this is from Nick's. When the manufacturer recommends it, there's a good chance that's what you ought to put on them. It is no more expensive that I found to buy it anywhere else. So I thought, you know what? If it's the same price and I can keep supporting Nick's, I'm going to keep doing it. So I've been very happy with them and was treated very well. So there's that. And I ordered some shoestrings, and I'll show you why. So you want to strip your shoestrings out. I guess that'd be the next step. If you look, get these right here. I have got 2 different lengths of shoestrings. So I had this shoestring right here. I had a really thin spot in it, and then it broke on me the other day. That is something I love about these shoestrings. They are way too long. Don't cut your shoestrings to length. So when my shoestring broke, I had one that was way up here and one that was about right there. So I opened up my tongue here, pulled them open, pulled my one shoestring all the way through like this. Back, yeah, there we go. Back in there. Kept going with it. Pulled it up the other side. And then I had a longer shoestring. So I was able to keep going, and I kept going for about a week. Not quite a week, I think, as I was close. So anyway, and something else, these leather shoestrings are so handy for anything else you need to tie, so don't throw your old shoestrings away. So pull them all the way out, and since I'll be replacing them, I am going to take them out of the false tongue. So there's one. can get this out of here. There we go. And something you will notice if this is your first time oiling your boots. Nick's told me give it 80 to 100 hours on your oil, or before you oil, I'm sorry, on your break-in. I was well over 100 hours when I first put my oil on, and they sent me a can of this same stuff, only it was tiny. It was about that big around and maybe that tall. Might have been 1 ounce, actually. And I had to make that entire can stretch over these boots, and they were not saturated, they were not over oiled by any means. So I'm going to put a little bit more on them today. I asked the guys at Nick's, I said, hey, I have oiled my boots for years, and a lot of the time, especially in the middle of summer and the middle of winter, sometimes up to every Friday night. So I'd always get my boots ready for Saturday. I said, is that too much? And they said, yeah, probably. Kind of keep an eye on it. He did say, here is your upper. So when you send your boot in for a resole, they're going to go from here down. Everything will be replaced. New rubber, new leather soles, midsoles. But this all stays. When you do a rebuild, they cut these seams right here and this right here all the way around up into here, and then they keep this part right here. So he said make sure that this part does not get dry, does not crack, does not, this is the part you want to keep. I think it was Nick's Boots Company, somebody in there told me, or a video I saw or something, that they had a pair of uppers they were rebuilding that were 30 years old. You are not going to keep a pair of boots for 30 years if you don't take care of them. These are better than any boot I've ever owned quality-wise. But if you don't take care of them, obviously they can't hold up. So pull your false tongues out. We're going to give those a shot of oil here in a minute. I want to keep those separate, right and left. And that's something else too to remember. Something I've noticed with mine, and I'll show you this. If you look where mine squeeze together, there's a gap about that big at the top. On this one, it's different. Now I know my legs are very symmetrical, so this is workmanship of the boot. I think I'm going to have to say it that way. And if you line them up, as you can see, that one is a little bit longer right there. So is it a big deal? No. Do I notice it once it's on? Haven't yet. Not real worried about it, but it does make a difference in your shoestring length. So if you get your shoestrings crossed, like I did, because I did have to trim this one just a little bit, and I know I said don't trim them, but I trimmed them, not cut them to length. I had to cut a couple inches off. And so when I trimmed them, I just wanted them the same length. That way when I pull my loops in, they're the same size. I'm kind of funny about that. So I did have to cut a little bit off of them. And when I did that, I think it was when I oiled them last, I got them swapped boot to boot. And one was really long and then the other one was too short. So just be mindful of that if you do have differences. These are handmade boots. These are not stamped out on some machine where, you know, they just click L1 and R1 and then boom, you got boots. These are some guy in a shop actually putting every one of these stitches in. So I always have used a rag. I've tried paper towels, not a good match. They get saturated in oil and they just fall apart. Go with a rag. Don't use a nice towel. Use a rag. Just get you something like that. And I just come in here, start rubbing it in, and they're gonna look greasy. Oh, I guess I should have made sure there was no dirt in here. Yeah, that'll go away. So as you can see, they're drinking it right. I mean, look at that. I have no access, no leftovers, no nothing. There's a little bit, but yeah, it's soaking it right up. There is another channel on YouTube called Wrangler Star. If you are a big Nick's Boots guy, or really much of a boot guy, you're probably a fan of Wrangler Star, or you've probably at least seen his videos. And he does show a video on this, and he said he's dumped tons of oil in these before before they stop drinking it. So I know mine are dry because they're not dry, they're thirsty. Because I've only oiled them once and I have worn them quite a bit. Now when you put any oil at all on these, look at that, that's just drinking it right up. You are going to notice a huge difference from the time you put them on. It's just not even going to be the same boot. And if you notice, I'm staying off of my soles. You don't have to do that at all. In my last video though, there was a lot of people, I mentioned that these were bleaching out, and as you can see, they're really light brown. There was a lot of people that told me how to take care of that. They said just put oil on them, and I'm going to do that here in just a second, but I want to get the rest of this boot done first, and I'm sorry I can't stand it up. I need to lay it down so I can get my hand in there. Just put your hand in like this, tip them over, and just pour it on. So if it's coming on or coming off, if it's white, see how that's, you can got lines and stuff in there and you can wipe it off. That's too much. You don't need that much. Just keep rubbing it and working it in. The more you work it and handle it, the better it'll drink it. So if you just slop it on with a putty knife, that's the finish and the quality, I guess, you're going to get. If you take just a minute and work them in, and something I have to remember when I oil these, they will come back to color. They get really dark on you when you oil them with this walnut color that NYX has. And I love that brown color. Boy, when you oil these, look at the difference in that. Look at that. No comparison. So these look a lot healthier, but that pretty brown is just hard to beat. So I'm going to keep going around here. And we'll do the soles here in just a minute. If you are tired of me doing this and tired of me rambling, you can skip ahead in the video. I know a lot of these boot videos get kind of long, and I'm sorry that I can't keep them shorter. I don't really, I mean, you just can't rush this stuff, and if you don't want to see it all, I guess you can always shut the video off. If you want to hear me just sit and ramble about Jeeps, I'd be more than happy to do that in my next video. Also with that, I'm going to keep doing boots, probably end up doing knives again. Couple tools I might want to review. If you've got something that you'd love to have reviewed on my channel, I know I don't have a lot of followers yet, but they will come. Send it to me. Get a hold of me. Talk to me. Whatever. If you got new tools, I love tools. I'll try them out. I am probably going to stick to this oil and these boots, at least for a good long while. So I'm a big supporter of NYX boots. But if you got any shop tools, any mechanics tools, anything like that you know you'd like to have put online, send them to me, and I'd at least love to look at them. So ooh, stuff smells kind of good. Okay. And again, I'm sorry I can't show more of this. It's kind of, and you have to pardon the bottom of my boot. I know it's a little dirty. Another thing you want to oil is the seams. Anywhere you have an overlap like that, make sure you put plenty of oil on those, because that is a water letter enter right there. And if you let those get really dry and you step in a puddle, you're going to have wet feet. And that just takes the fun right out of your day. Because then they get cold and then you get grouchy, and nobody likes that. So, oh, another thing too that I forgot to mention before. NYX and everybody that I've talked to, boot companies, everybody says do not oil past this line of stitches right here. As you can see, that line of stitches right there. So you don't want your eyelets to get oil on them. because it will make that leather soft and they'll actually pull out when you crank them down. You don't want that. So, and I'm not sure if they can be put back in or not, but I know if they pulled out once, there's a good chance they're going to pull out twice. So I've oiled them before and I've never had an issue. When they told me that, I'm like, oh, I better stop, because I do plan on having these uppers for a very, very long time. As you can see, I've gone over the whole boot, except the tongue. So I'll show you this in just a second here. And again, I'm sorry I can't buff faster. I just got one finger. So, yeah. Alrighty. So, we got, set that right there. We've got a boot that has been oiled, and it's that easy. There is nothing different from the rough out to the smooth out, other than it seems to drink it up a little nicer. It absorbs it better. So yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. Now we're going to do the tongue. So the tongue is not rough out, obviously. It'd be kind of cool if it was, because I love the look of that rough out leather. So open this thing up. I mean, it'll go back. Don't worry about knocking the creases out of it. And then just give her the works. Don't get too crazy on the edges where it folds under here, because again, we don't want this oiled. But everything else, just, and this will, leather preservative, yeah. They call this a grease. It's not an oil. So oil is more like a shoe polish consistency. It's liquidy, like it'll drip. This stuff is, you have to rub it in. So as the more you work it, the warmer it gets. And then obviously well, here, I'll just show you. So you can see that little bit right there. If you rub it for just a second, it's gone. It's just oil. So this is a grease. It is, well, it's about like the consistency of coconut oil. If you've ever messed with coconut oil, you know that when it gets cold, it gets really hard. It's a solid. When you go to make popcorn, you throw this big chunk of white stuff in a pan, let it sit there for a minute, and it's not long, and it's liquid. So there's your tongue. That's all oiled up nice. I think I got it all. Yeah. And like I said, I'm nervous with these boots. I want to be extra cautious. I've had boots in the past. I've just dumped oil in them, and I don't want to do that with these boots because, yeah, these are nice boots. Time for the soles. So, here we go. Ooh, buddy. Looky, looky, looky. So now on these, I'm going to give her just a little bit more oil, and then up around on this right here, I want that to be a little more wet. I'm just going to say these boots came right back to life. I did not mind the whited out look, I guess you'd say, on the fade. I was in a lot of snow. It's about 10 inches of snow. Actually, I was grinding stumps, and my boots got wet, like really wet for the first time. My feet were, they weren't soaked by any means. They were just, I could tell that I had some water that had obviously come in. I mean, when you're standing in 10 inches of snow for several hours, you're going to have that. And that was a big eye-opener, like, hey, I need some oil on these boots. So they dried out, no problem. They were a little stiff the next day, nothing to worry about. I put them on within a couple hours. I never even knew that they'd been wet. These are leather, so when they get wet, they're going to dry, they're going to get crispy, and you're going to put them on, you're going to re-break in all those fibers, and it's going to be fine. Same thing if you've ever had a leather belt and you've been caught in the rain or jumped in a swimming pool, whatever. Same thing. You notice the next day when you put it on, it's all stiff and crispy, and you get it on and it's tight and it doesn't fit right, and you let it go for a couple hours, and at the end of that, you don't even know that it, you don't know anything changed. So, boy, I'll tell you what, I am liking this. I did love the two-tone, because you got a black sole right here, and then right here you had a brown walnut or brown midsole leather. And I was just a huge fan of that. That two-tone just really popped. So some of that is coming back, and I don't really care if it does come back. I'm kind of liking the broke-in look of the boots better than the new look. Obviously, new boots just look phenomenal, but they are getting very comfortable. The soles are breaking in. I have noticed, I'm only going to do one boot for you guys today. I just don't want this video to go on forever. So that's the gist of it. I am going to polish this other boot up and make it look good. Let them sit for just a few minutes. You name your minutes, however long. It could be 5, 10, 2, whatever you got time for. And just look at them. Look at them in the light. Find a light. Make them glare. And look for dry spots. You'll see them. Any spots where the leather's really laid down or anything like that. And if it needs more oil, it'll tell you. It's going to look dry. It's going to it'll stand out on the dark leather. It'll go back to the brown. I do have a feeling the soles are going to need some more love. So, and something that I've noticed too, and I don't know if everybody has this or if it's just me or what, but my heel cup has turned up. So if you look right here, there's almost no gap around there that comes in. This gap right here just disappears around the back. And I don't know why that is, but I kind of like it because it just kind of shields my heel even more. So, and also, I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video, I got a chance to strap some spurs on. It's March. So, not been working in trees as much, obviously. I'm starting to pick back up, but a while back, I forget when it was, I got to strap some spurs on these and I was very happy. With this double midsole that I got, it was night and day compared to my other boots. I did not have the screaming pain when I got out of the tree, and I was up there a decent long time. I've been up in some longer, but these boots are serving every purpose that I bought them for. I've spent a lot of hours in my shop working on concrete, standing, grinding, welding. I built a flatbed for my truck, and I was in them the whole time, standing out there at, cold temperatures and everything else, blah, blah, blah. They were right there. My feet did not hurt at all when I came in. I've been in other boots where I'm on concrete for 3 hours, and I mean, I can't hardly walk. My knees are killing me. They're popping and cracking and all that. Not anymore. And if you notice here, something before I go, because I'm going to turn this off in just a second. Before I go, there is some grease that's fallen in here and kind of around in these seams and stuff like that. I don't get worried about stuff like that because I know it'll soak in. So if it's on a joint, if it's out here, wipe it off. Doesn't matter. This doesn't need near as much as the seam because you got 2 pieces of leather you're treating. This in here is where you're going to hold dirt, moisture, stuff like that. In the wintertime, obviously I'm in Indiana, I've said before, there's a lot of snow and ice and slush. I don't know how much slush we've had this year. It's been ridiculous with a foot of snow and then that melt off. So I stepped in slush one day and it came all the way up to here. I didn't even know it was there. Stepped into a snow drift, boom, all the way up to here is just covered in just soup. And my feet never got wet. So I figured I'd have been soaked because I didn't have a whole lot of oil on them. I wore them dry, which if you can wear your boots till they're dry, I personally think they don't shrink up as bad. I don't know if that's bad for the leather or if it's better to just let them dry. Also, I bought a boot dryer and I haven't had a chance to get it out yet. I haven't needed it because I've been putting my boots by the stove. So when the wood stove is turned off here in a month or 2, hopefully less, I did forget all about these and I'm sorry. Just run their this is the rough outside, this is the smooth side. Run your oil on the same way. And I'll show you what they look like when I get this done here. But as for the boot dryer, I've heard one bad review on boot dryers, and I don't think the guy really knew what he was talking about. And he claimed that they absolutely destroyed his boots, but it was in a way that a boot dryer wouldn't destroy a boot. He said it blew the whole bottom off of it because of some reason. So I will be using that. They've come recommended by a lot of people. I'll be using that in the summertime. And in the summer, when I'm grinding stumps, we live in Indiana. I'm sorry to keep saying that. I keep forgetting I've already said it. But the clay here is crazy. And in the summertime, we always go through, I'm not going to say a drought, but it gets very dry for Indiana because it's so humid. So we'll get a couple months sometimes where we don't really get any rain. And when you're grinding stumps, you are in moon dust. It's just the finest, dustiest dust that, I mean, you could get. And so when you're grinding in that, your boots are just sitting in that dust, and it'll pull the moisture out of your boots so bad. There's no comparison. I mean, they dry out so quick. So I will be oiling these more in the summer and dead of winter probably. Fall and spring seems like they usually last pretty good. We get a lot more mud in the spring, which I just try to step around mud as much as possible because I don't like cleaning them. But yeah, and that is it. It's as simple as that. So I'm going to put these side by side. And there you go. Give them a turn. So it'll darken your leather, but yeah, I mean, I can feel a difference in them. They're softer, they're more supple, and they are going to be a whole lot more comfortable. So thank you for joining me. I'm sorry I went so long. Please tell your off-road friends if they really like Jeeps about my channel. I may be doing a channel name change soon. I kind of just grabbed whatever I had laying there for my name. But I am looking to turn this into a Jeep build channel. So I am super excited about this next Jeep I got coming in. I think I'm going to keep it as a surprise what it is. It's very rare, but I think you're going to like it, especially if you like weird off-road Jeeps. I love Jeeps of all shapes and sizes, kinds, and colors and years. I don't really discriminate on those as long as the top comes off. And XJs and any full-size Jeep, and you know, I love Jeeps. So going to be getting more of that stuff on here, hopefully. So maybe showing some how to re-gear Dana 60 coming up soon, and lockout hub stuff, all that kind of stuff. So just please tell your friends about my channel. Go ahead and subscribe. I haven't said that yet in my channel. That's a first, so I want to grow this channel a little bit. I'd love to get some of your guys' content on here. If you got any questions, to the guy that sent me the request to oil these boots, thank you so much. It was amazing, and I even told my wife, I said, I cannot believe somebody asked me to do something like this. So thank you. If you got something you want to see, if you have a question about a Jeep or about a boot or a pocket knife, don't know much about knives, but I'll try to learn. But yeah, man, get a hold of me. Contact me, whatever. Comment on my videos. That's how I saw the last guy. And your likes are always appreciated. And thank you so much. I'm out.